hello, good morning, hello to my podcast listeners. Hello. I am recording this live on Facebook as I always do. Not always, but most of always do. Because I love the energy that happens with lives. Don't you love that, Chellie?
Yes, I do.
Yes. So Chellie and I are here. I'm going to get the rest of my head in the picture here. We're here today to talk about the wealthy spirit, and we need a wealthy spirit. Why are we talking about that? Because Chellie wrote a book about that. A. And B, I've been talking to her and I need help with some of my confidence around cash. And I also need to have some more clients and make some income. And what's the other thing? There's a fourth thing.
Confidence. Let's see. Confidence, charisma. Client
Charisma, I got. I got charisma.
You got charisma. There's no question.
I got so I didn't even think about that one, right? It's just whatever.
Right.
Welcome to those who've not met me before. My name is Cyndilu. I'm the founder of beBOLDyou, the creator of the beBOLDyou podcast, which you're listening to now on the replay. And it's so exciting to have you with us. If you're here catching us live, please interact and talk with us and let us know where you're listening from. And Chellie, I would love for you to actually introduce yourself, because I have found two things happen when I let you do that. You tell things that I didn't know about yourself. The people get to hear better about what's happening in your life, and it comes straight from your heart. And three, I get to go share it to other places while you're doing that.
Oh, so do you want the 30-second introduction or the 90-second?
Oh, 90 at least.
Oh, 90. Okay. You always have to ask these questions. Let me just share with the audience. You have to ask so that you don't keep going and they're like going, it's trying to motion you to shut up already. And you didn't say all the things you wanted to say. So I like to start with, you're going to be rich tomorrow if you take my class today. I'm Chellie Campbell, and I treat money disorders, spending bulimia, and income anorexia. I have an 8-week program I call Financial Stress Reduction Workshop. I've been doing that for 30 years. Before that, I owned a bookkeeping service for 12 years. I had 13 employees, and I helped people manage their money. And that's where I got to know that people really suck at that, and they could use some help. So I started giving coaching and guidance along that way. Yes, well, you know what? This is something that in America, it's not taught in our school system. And that's because they say, well, your parents should teach you that. But if your parents don't know, they can't teach you. And what could be more important than how you make and manage money in your life? Okay, so before the bookkeeping service, I was a musical comedy actress. That's why I do a little singing. You know, there's so many money songs, right? Money, all of that. And brother, can you spare a dime? And you're in the money. There's lots of things like that. So when I do my 30-second commercial at networking groups, I always sing a little money tune so they connect the redhead, the music, and the money. So I always end by saying, oh, and now I have a new thing, which is Facebook Lives, which Cyndilu has been so helpful with getting me all the technical stuff that I need to know to do this. Facebook Live videos. And I have a group called The Wealthy Spirit Group, which it takes after my first book, which I have here. Show and tell, The Wealthy Spirit. It's a page a day for every day of the year with a quote, an affirmation, and a story. So, because I believe in learning by story, because then it makes sense to you, the application and why it's good in your life to do something special with money. But it's not all about money. It's about being rich inside too, because I saw the wealthy people had no spirit and the spiritual people were all broke. What's wrong with that picture? A lot. So anyway, the bottom line is, if you're living on peanut butter and jelly and would like to afford deli, call Chellie.
I love that last little bit. And see, there were tons of things in there that I don't think I had heard or I didn't remember. So thank you so much.
Good.
That was so fun.
Thank you.
I just want you to talk like forever. Just like talk because you're so fun to listen to.
Thank
The way you
you.
put things and the way that you kind of piece them together. And I'm sure it came from, your performance background and all being.
For the longest time, I thought my life made no sense, because all I wanted to do was sing and dance for a living until I sang and danced for a living. In school, it was fun. It was fun in high school. It was fun all through college. I was a classmate with Michael Douglas. We did a show together. I have pictures. And then I came to Hollywood to be a star. Anybody recognize me? That didn't happen. But I did work. I was a working actress on and off for about 8 years. And then I got a show at Disney. I worked for Disney a lot. But this one show I did was, oh my God, it was 5 shows a day, 5 days a week for 9 months. I had never been that bored in my entire life. Because in school, a long run was 3 weekends. You do the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 weeks, and then you're done and you're on to the next show. And I kind of discovered what I really loved was rehearsal, was the process of inventing and figuring things out and trying out bits of business with the other actors and interacting and coming up with fun bits. And then once it's set and you do the same thing over and over, that's like working on a factory assembly line.
Oh my gosh. Chellie,
I'm
you're
telling
cracking me up.
To me, it was just awful. And then I did Hello Dolly with Martha Ray, and the lead guy doing Hello Dolly had been doing 8 shows a week of Hello Dolly for 3 years. So I fell into, my mother said, you want to be an actor, learn to type, honey. And so I did. I would sing, I would type. I would sing, I would type. And then I would take these temporary secretarial jobs. So the Disney show closed. I got another gig and it closed before it ever opened. They ran out of money. And so then I went to my temporary agency to get another secretarial gig. And it was supposed to be for 2 weeks while the head gal was on vacation. So it was a small company, independent company, not a big corporation. There were maybe 12 people working there. And they were an employment agency for people in the computer field. And they were all these salespeople, and they were good at talking to people because they were matching up employers with employees, so they were dealing with people all the time. They were fun, funny, upbeat. It was really fun working there. And instead of treating me like Drek, the clerk who's here for a temporary, here, type this, here, they'd go, could you do me a favor? Could you take this letter and type it for me and maybe fix the English? I'm not so sure it's great. Sure, no problem. Yeah, that's why they pay me to be here. And on day 3, the president comes by and goes, we'd like you to go full-time permanent. You're really working out well here, and we've got enough work to keep you
Day
busy.
3.
Yeah,
day 3. Oh my gosh.
Day 3. I got along with him. I did good work. I have a good work ethic, so, and they were all nice to me and I was nice back. So I fit in. It's just one of those lucky things. And I said, I can't go full-time permanent. I'm an actress. I have to go on auditions in the middle of the day. And God bless his heart. He said, okay, you can go. I said, what? He said, yeah, you got an audition, you can go. We'll just pay you by the hour for the hours you work. That'll work for us. I said, okay, you got a deal. So what happened was the other gal in the office quit. She got married, she quit. And they offered me that job. It was office manager. It was handling all the finance of the business. I said, well, I really don't know anything about the financial things. They said, we'll teach you, you'll learn it. I said, okay. I have a friend who says, when I'm about to take a risk, I consider the downside. If it's not death, I do it. which I think is a really good operating principle. You're going to be scared. See, this is where the confidence thing comes in. Confidence is about taking the risk and going for it. Everything you don't already know is outside your comfort zone. And I saw a meme on Facebook once that had a little cloud down in the box and it said your comfort zone. And then it had a huge cloud covering everything else and it said where the magic happens. Right?
Come on.
Yeah. So I went, that's it. I'm going to take the risk. And see, I was used to doing that. That's what show business training helped me do, is you just go for it, and they always said, when the job interview happens and you make the call back and they say, well, you say yes before you even know what it is. Yeah. Then if it turns out to be skydiving, you can go, oh, well, no, I don't really do that.
No, maybe.
Yeah. The saying I saw was, if at first you don't succeed, skydiving is not for you.
Yeah, right. That is why you want the first one to be tandem. But even sometimes that doesn't work out. So, yeah.
I am not jumping out of a plane unless it's on fire.
Yeah, then it would be a good option.
Then you got to go. But
of the two options, yeah.
I like terra firma. I get nervous on a ship. I love cruising, but when the cruising goes and it's all water where you can't see land at all, I'm not happy.
So you like those local little cruises?
No, I like the big cruises, but I'm just not happy when we can't see land. But like the cruise in the Mediterranean, you're always close to the shore.
That's what I was thinking. That's actually the one I was thinking, because you can always see land.
Yeah, and the cruise to Alaska is the same way. You're on the coast of Alaska. You can always see it right there.
Yeah, the cruise down here, I don't think it's always that way. No, we're a pretty small island.
Yes, I know. New Zealand. It's so awesome. My sister and her husband have been to New Zealand.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's a great place.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place.
I see the pictures.
Yes. So we have confidence.
Yes. Confidence. Now, charisma.
Yeah.
That's second. Charisma comes from confidence. People are hoping they have charisma, and they're going for the charisma thing before they have the confidence thing. All right? The confidence is what makes you charismatic.
Yeah.
When you walk into a room and you're going, oh, I hope they like me, not charismatic, okay? Not confident. But when you walk in, I like me, and I know there's going to be a few people here who like me too. That's all you need. You don't need everybody. You're never going to get 100%. Big lesson, big life lesson.
Oh my gosh, that is such a big lesson. Like, we are always trying to make everyone happy. Well, I don't anymore. But, there was a time in my life where, I was trying to make everyone happy and trying to, like, look perfect and be perfect and all of those things. And I wouldn't have worn a shirt that showed like this, where it was like,
yeah.
Now it's like, I want to be warm. It's winter down here. We're the opposite. We've got wind happening. We've got snow happening. We've got, rain. And I'm going to be warm, and I'm not going to worry about it. Right? You can put on to detract from that and bring it back up.
This is the thing. If you're too bland, nobody likes you. They tolerate you. But you have to be unique and stand out in your individuality. It's like, I always wear gold tennis shoes. Okay, on Zoom, that's worthless as a brand. But I even have a little meme that I post sometimes, which has my feet up on a desk, my gold tennis shoes. And it says, don't judge me till you've walked a mile in my gold tennis shoes.
We need to work your tennis shoes into a cute little logo for all.
It's better if you can see the shoes,
I know, but I've got some ideas.
Okay, I'm open, because I'll try new stuff. See.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about charisma. When you trust yourself, this is what you have to do. Forget about pleasing everybody. Just go for your people. Like in marketing and sales, they say, well, who's your target audience? Describe that person. What's the demographic, And you can do that very generically, and you have a list of qualities. But if you really just go for being the person you love being, When you let your hair down you're with your friends at a party, who's that person? That's the most attractive you're ever going to be. And then, as long as you're not drunk or something, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. We're talking about when you're really hanging out with your friends and you're going to be accepted no matter what you say. Be that person. And some people are going to hate what you said and leave. And then you're just left with all the people who really like what you said. Isn't that perfect?
Yeah, that sounds perfect to me. Certainly
Yeah,
works.
it does to me too. It took me a long time to get there because I was raised to be a good girl. Everybody has to like you. You can never be criticized for having said an unkind word or made anybody else uncomfortable. I mean, you know what? Mother Teresa doesn't even get that kind of reviews. Christopher Hitchens wrote a whole book on how bad she was. So if Mother Teresa can't get 100%, what chance have I got? This is the way I look at it.
Yeah, well, Jesus didn't get 100% either, did he?
No.
And he's got an amazing message with redemption, with eternal life. And it's like, not everybody catching on to that message. So why do we think everybody has to catch on to ours? And we do. We feel like if somebody says, a bad thing or whatever, it's like, oh my gosh. But if you look, you probably have 40 or 50 good things to every one bad thing, or maybe even more. Like we just panic.
Well, this is what happens. I see it all the time. People send out an email to their list. Maybe there's 4,000 people on the list. And 2 people write in and say, you shouldn't have said that. You made me so mad. And then they go, oh, I've got to make it up to these people. I can never do that again. 3,998 people really liked it and 2 didn't. And you're trying to change to suit them. It's so dumb.
Does not make sense. But it's what we do, isn't it?
Yeah. So let me give you a hint about the charisma. One of the best examples of charisma I saw was old-time singer Paul Anka, guy from the 50s, right? So my girlfriends and I went down to the place he was playing at, Pachanga, which is an Indian reservation, and he was singing there. I'm telling you, he had us all within 1 minute in the palm of his hand. Because he walked in through the audience. It wasn't, he comes on the stage. He walked in through the audience with one of his hit songs playing, and everybody's kind of with it. They're standing up, they're clapping. He starts pulling people out of the audience and dancing with them, and he's going high with the biggest smile. And then he'll stop singing the lyrics to the song and he'll start saying, yes, I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad. And he gets up on stage and then everything stops and he says, okay, you know how they make that announcement. There's no recording and no picture taking and stay off your cell phone. He goes, I don't care about that. You record all you like. You take all the pictures you want to. So one girl has her phone up and she's taping him, and he's singing and he notices her and he comes on down off of the stage into the audience and he says, who are you talking to? And he's singing it like the lyrics to the song. Who are you talking to? And she goes, oh, it's my girlfriend. Well, give me the phone. And he starts singing to the girlfriend on the phone. Yeah. I mean, you got to love the guy, right?
Yep.
He was like that the entire time. And I just said, wow, what an example of charisma.
Yeah.
And for me in my own life, it came, whatever charisma I had, came when I was learning to sing. Because, see, I wanted to sing and dance for a living, and I was really confident of the dance part, but I wasn't confident of the singing part. I sang in church choir with a bunch of people. I didn't sing solo. So, but I noticed that the parts all went to the singers. So I got to learn how to sing. So then I go to the singing audition, which happens in front of everybody else in the drama department in the school. How confronting is that? I mean, I'm like, okay, so I picked the exact wrong song because I'm not the romantic lead. I'm the Ado Annie, the cutesy dancing lead person. But I picked Tonight from West Side Story. Tonight. And it goes way high. I could hit the note, but I was so nervous. It was like, oh.
I
And
can
the
so relate.
but I finished, and then people politely applauded, and the teacher said, "That's okay, Chellie. You keep dancing till you learn how to sing."
Oh my gosh.
I was so mortified. I didn't open my mouth for about a year after that. And then I went, I can sing. I hear myself in the shower. It sounds as good as that. I'm going to keep going. And then I figured out my type, and started picking 80 Annie type songs. And then I got a gig at summer stock at the University of Eugene, Oregon. They had a carnival theater for the summer. And I submitted an application and a resume, and they picked me. And I flew to Eugene, Oregon by myself. And then here we are auditioning for all of the shows for the summer. The same thing in front of all the directors and all the other people. But I sang I Can't Say No from Oklahoma. I'm just a girl who can't say no, just a cutesy song. And I just said to myself before I did it, I said, I don't care what they think of me. I'm never going to see any of these people again after this summer. And I'm just going to let her rip. And I did. I just belted out as best I could. And a man stood up in the audience, and he walked down to the stage, and he held my hand and took me back and sat me down next to him and handed me the lead in the musical.
Oh my gosh.
I said, well, I guess that worked.
See, now maybe that's my problem. I've never found my type, or I've never wanted to. Let me rephrase that. I think I've never wanted to own my type, because I always wanted to be the lead, and I always get the Joker stuff, right?
Listen, let me turn you on to the Joker's second lead part. You lift everybody's spirits when you come on because you're funny. You always get laughs, you always get applause, and then you get to go relax backstage and have coffee and tea and eat from the craft tray,
Well, and as I'm aging, it's going to be more of those parts anyway, right? I mean,
right. So just make it fun, It's like the romantic leads can be fun too, but that wasn't. I could do it, but I wasn't great at that. I was really great at being cute and funny. And I liked that role. I kind of was like that in my real life too. I just always wanted to crack a joke. So let's go with that. That seems to be working.
Yeah, I like that too. And I think if I had focused on that, I might have got some of those roles, but I always got chorus. Always. Like, there was never a doubt. Any audition I ever went to, I never doubted that I would be in the show. Right? I always was in chorus, always.
So now you just have to up level your belief.
Yeah.
And just believe that you're so right for this part and you should be having it, and you already have it.
Well, and they're going to be doing Beauty and the Beast here, and I'm thinking, yeah, what's the lady's name? The older lady that is like
the one that's the teapot?
Yeah, the teapot. The teapot.
Yeah. Mrs. Somebody or other. You should do that. Absolutely. Yeah. So be quirky, do your hair up in funny curls or stuff, have something sticking out somewhere, just make sure they remember you. That's the main thing. You want to be out there. And I remember when I was first auditioning a lot in Hollywood and stuff, I would try and be the character they wanted to see. And it took me a long time to figure out I needed to go as the quirky redhead every time, no matter what the part was. Because if I wasn't right for what they were casting, when they needed the quirky redhead type, they were going to call me.
Yep.
And that's what started happening with Disney. I didn't even have to audition anymore. They just called me for stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I'll work on that.
But here's the other thing, confidence you have to have before you get charisma. And what you have to do is be so confident, you don't even care about the charisma, you just assume it. You can forget about that because you're just being you. And some people are going to like you no matter what you do. And some people are not going to like you no matter what you do. Two kinds of people in life, your people and not your people. You can't change the not your people's mind.
So Jane Campbell's watching Marcotta.
Jane Marcotta Campbell. Campbell Marcotta, I mean.
Campbell Marcotta. She says it's Mrs. Potter, she thinks. And I think that's
Mrs.
right.
Potter. Okay. Thank you, Jane.
For those listening to the podcast, you know, this is recorded live. So, hey, you just had to take that little break with us. And speaking of a break, today's broadcast is sponsored by Becoming Bold You. And if you haven't got your copy of Becoming Bold You book yet, which is authored by Cyndilu Miller, yours truly, you should go ahead and get that. And you can get that by going to cyndilu.com/BBY book.
Yay. Author. Isn't it fun to be an author?
It is so fun to be an author. It is just a riot.
It's so great. I just love it. And
well,
then
Jane's saying that they love New Zealand. So this is your sister. Is this your
sister?
Yeah,
that's my sister. Yep. She loved New Zealand.
Yes. Well, I'm in the south of New Zealand. I'm in the beginning of the Catlins. So if you explored the South Island and the Catlins area, you went by where we live.
So neat.
Yeah. Okay. So confidence, charisma, and next is
clients. How to get clients. So, well, from
it seems like the first two would lead to the third one. Like if you're confident.
Yeah, you can't get clients without having the first two, right? Because you already have to get that. You are great and you have an audience and you have things to share that can help people. Not everybody, but there are people out there who are praying for you to show up. They need help. Whatever it is that you fix, they need fixing. So the whole thing with marketing and selling is looking for the people who want what you have and need what you have and have the ability to pay you something for it, right?
That one, that third one.
Yeah, the cash part comes last. But first we have to find the people that really need it. And, you know, that takes an examination of self. What is it that you are called to do to help people? So let me just share with you, sometimes this comes later in life. Some people know what they want to do when they're in their teens and they start a business and they're a millionaire by 24. I was just reading about a girl like that and I went, oh, well, honey, that ain't my story. That isn't it. So, but I did all of this singing and dancing and stuff, you know, and then I got promoted to the financial part in this employment agency. And I thought, I don't know if I can do that. And I hated math class in school. I just thought, I don't know how this is going to work, but what's the worst going to happen? If it doesn't work out, I'll go back and be a secretary. That's fine. Because this is just a day job anyway, right? I'm still pursuing the acting. I got into this financial job and discovered I loved it. I loved it. Who knew? If you had told me back in high school or college I was going to love this job, I would have laughed you silly.
Right. I know, right? Accounting and doing books and all of that.
Yes.
I actually found it fun too, Chellie, which is really, really weird, right? Like And I loved, when you don't tell anybody this now because I don't want to do it anymore. But when I was doing accounts receivable and payables, I was doing that for a company in America. And then when you do the balance the books out and you found that 0.04 difference and where it was, and you're so excited. It's just
it's like detective work, you know.
It was the challenge of it, right? It was the challenge of it, and that challenge of it was fun. So
yes. Well, so I got into it and I loved it. And now I get an audition, I go, but I've got stuff to do back at the office. And then sometimes, you know, they call, you got an audition at 2:00. And I go, oh, I'm sorry, I can't make that one. I got to get payroll out. And then I was starting to say, I'm not sure I want to keep taking time off to go on auditions because I'm really liking this job. And they were giving me all kinds of responsibility, and I was designing systems and procedures, and they were going to open a branch office. I said, you don't have to have a bookkeeper down there. We can centralize it all up here. And they went, oh, I said, that'll save you a lot of money. Oh, and then I got a call to go to Houston Alley Theater in Texas for 3 months and play the lead in Three Penny Opera.
Wow.
Oh, and it was a paid gig. It was Actors Equity. It was union. It was big credit. The Houston Alley Theater was so big then. And I went, oh, but I would have to give up this job. And I liked this job, and I liked having regular money, and I liked these people. And I went, am I willing to give all this up for 3 months in Texas and then be a starving actor again? And I said, no, I'm not. And I called them back and I said, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to turn this down. They were shocked because it was just a call to offer me. I didn't have to audition because I had worked for the director before. And I just said, no, I think I'm complete with the acting career. And I wrote my agent a letter and said, thank you so much for all your past services. I am done here. And I know this was the right thing because I never, ever went back and did a play. People would always say, why don't you do community theater? I said, well, I'm busy doing other things. It just never appealed to me. I had worked all that out. It was like a training or a class that I had taken and completed. It felt complete to me. And I said, well, I don't know how I got to reframe my whole picture of myself. I'm not an actress anymore. I'm a financial person. It just seems so strange. But then, there were many adventures in between, but then I got the gig managing a small bookkeeping service, and it was just one person in me. And I said, well, if I just do bookkeeping all day, this is going to be dull. But if I get more clients and hire more bookkeepers, then I can have the PR marketing job. I like that idea better. So that's what I did. And I hired 3 or 4 more people that year. So the 2 guys who owned it were attorneys. They didn't work in the business. They had just started it because they needed some good bookkeeping done for themselves and their clients. They took me aside and they said, okay, for your Christmas bonus, we were thinking you act like an owner and we think you should be one. So here's 20% of the business.
Whoa. Oh my gosh.
A mic drop.
Yeah. I was going to say, for those who are listening to the podcast, we both had our mouths gaping wide open there on that silent time because, oh my.
Who does that? Right?
But that,
and I said,
to me, that's proof that you were right where you were supposed to be.
Yes. And so now I'm a business owner. See, back in the day when I was looking at singing and dancing for a living, in retrospectively looking at it, I can see that in those days in the 60s, there was no picture for a woman business owner. All of the news was about men, and it was delivered by men. There were no women in the newspaper except in the society pages or weddings or stuff like the fashion, but no business. So it didn't even come across my brain. But I wanted independence and I wanted creativity. So I thought, Shirley MacLaine, she's cute and has red hair and I could be that. And that's really was the idea. It was the closest thing to business owner I could get to. But when these people gave me this 20%, I went, this is what I've been looking for. So now I'm just growing this business, but now I'm getting the business part of business. It's like not exactly everything I like to do. It's hiring and firing, it's marketing and sales. And I'm not real sure that this is my place, but I kept improving and I had ended up with 13 employees. But along the way, I'm seeing that my clients can't read a financial statement, so I need to explain it to them. And then I can see where they're losing money on something. I say, you're not making any money on this. And by the way, how come your office supplies expenses have multiplied times 3 this year? They go, what? Well, look, this is how you see this. And 3 people in the same week said, you should teach this.
Mm.
And I went, Well, I've taken a lot of classes that I've found valuable. I know about seminars. I didn't want to do the Tony Robbins thing, but I liked the idea of having a small group that I could really get intimate with, see what the problems were, and see their blind spot and help them fix it. This is where you're messing up. I can help you with this. So what you got to do?
Back to the detective work, right? Back to
yes, exactly. How does this all put together? So I wrote up I was going to say I wrote up a class, but that isn't what I did first. I wrote the flyer for the class because it was 1990. We were having a big recession then. I couldn't spend a lot of time and energy on something that wasn't going to sell. So I wrote up the flyer and I mailed it out. Nobody responded. So then I got on the phone and started convincing people, otherwise known as sales, to convince people to come. And so I had 12 people, and that's all the chairs I had room for in the conference room. So I taught my first class. And that's when I saw that my whole life that I thought made no sense.
Oh, right. Because you're in front of
was all training me to do this. Because financial literacy wasn't taught in the school classes, and people really didn't know what they didn't know. And plus, I saw all the wealthy people had no spirit, and the spiritual people were all broke. What's wrong with that picture? I think the spiritual people should have all the money, but they had this push-pull thing with, oh, you don't have to pay me, I'm doing good in the world. But then they got to make a living somewhere, and they do some grunt job, and now they're overworked and underpaid, and it doesn't work. And then the really wealthy people, now what are they going to do? I mean, so what can I do that's good in the world? But they don't really have to, so they don't get off the couch, So, Jeff Bezos has $160 billion, but he's not driven by that. How many billions do you need? Everything's paid for, more than that, over 1,000 times. But he likes the business. He likes thinking things up. He likes engaging in that way. So that's what happens. He has charisma, and he has a product that serves people so well, they keep buying stuff from him. So you can have his picture on Mount Rushmore. That's fine with me. He's done a lot of good in the world. So you have to say, well, what am I capable of, and what do I want? Like, I don't want to be number one. I don't want to try and beat Tony Robbins. I'm not Tony Robbins. Besides, he's doing a show. He's doing the thing that bored me when I did it, right?
Yeah.
I want the interaction. I want the let's make stuff up. Let's fix what needs fixing over here. And here's some ideas I know about because I've been alive longer, and I've been around the block a bunch of times.
I think that's what I like about helping people to get their groups online and get their memberships going. Like, yes. And I've only just fallen into this by helping you and another lady. And
you have helped me so much. Let me give a big plug to Cyndilu here. I mean, because I'm like, always I've said, Chellie no hablo techo. Tech was something I hire people to do, but with the Facebook Live whole thing, I needed to learn it. So I signed up to take a class to learn it. That's where I met Cyndilu and Molly Mahoney's class. And I said, I need somebody to help me with the back end here because I got the overview, but doing it, I'm going, but all of a sudden I'm in the wrong place. How did I get there? How do I get out? So I said, who can help me? And Cyndilu held up her hand. I could help you. And thank God for you. You are so fabulous and make it so clear and easy. I can say, Chellie hablo techo now. And when I can't hablo, I hire Cyndilu to do it.
And that's what I love. It's not that I love helping people with tech. It's allowed you to get your message out to more people and to get your membership going and to have people in your classes and get moving. And it's like,
yes.
And that lady that I just
isn't the tech is just a means to getting it. It's like learning how to write before you can write a book. Yeah. You got to have one before the other happens, and it just opened up a whole new world for me. So
And I
It's
love
like
that.
I feel like I've gone back to acting because now I'm doing Facebook Lives 10 minutes a day, every day of the week. And I feel like I have my own television show. It's a 10-minute television show. It happens Monday through Friday. You can binge watch it.
And that's what Molly, her whole thing is on. Molly Mahoney, the prepared performer. If people want to know about that course, they can let me know, and I will send them a special link where they can sign up and they get Molly and me to help them support it. So
Yeah.
that aside,
Yes.
what about the cash?
Now we have to talk about the cash. Confidence, charisma, clients, and cash. Okay, so now you have the confidence to do it. You have the charisma to attract your people. You get the clients begging you and signing up and saying, yeah, I want to hang out with you, Chellie. And now you've got to get the money. So how much do you charge, and how do you do your budget? I say budget stands for baby, you deserve getting everything. Very important. Maybe not all today. You want to have a couple of stages of budgets, like low, medium, and high. Make it easy. So you start out where you start out, and how much can you charge and still make a living? I taught my class on the side for a long time because the bookkeeping service was like my day job, paid the bills. But then it started taking over my life. I said, okay, well, what are other people charging? Well, I could charge that. And so I started matching that. And then I just started, let me tell you, this is what you really need to pay attention to when you are going to sell your stuff, is after people have learned what you have showed them, what happens to their life? Like, how much value did they get out of it? So in my class, I had people double their incomes in 8 weeks. Really. I had people get the biggest client of their life. More than one time this has happened. The biggest client they had ever had. And people who had been in business for 10, 15 years got the biggest client of their life. And then I had a woman who wrote me a year after taking the class, and she said, I just wanted you to know I signed this contract today for $7 million. And I never would have done it if I hadn't taken your class. And I went, I am not charging enough. Okay. And then you have to make peace with how you charge the money. You have to say, I'm worthy, I'm worth it. You got to do positive affirmations. So let me just put this in there right now. I have a free list of positive money affirmations that I call the Fabulous 14 Abundance Affirmations. It's on my website, Chellie.com. So that's my first name, Chellie.com. And these affirmations I've been passing out for years. I even gave them to the editor of what became this book. When I got contacted by my agent that Source Books was interested, and I had a conversation with her, and she wanted to take all the affirmations out. I said, what? I mean, it's called Daily Affirmations for Financial Stress Reduction. She goes, yeah, I can't go to my 40 salespeople and say we're doing another affirmation book. I said, oh, so you think everybody knows this already? She goes, well, yeah. I said, well, let me ask you a question. Are you doing them? She goes, I said, positive affirmations about money specifically. Are you doing them? She goes, no. Oh, yeah, I got cocky because I'd been through the ringer. I'd had a deal that fell apart. I've had almost deals. I've had promises. And I was going, and my other friends in my writers group are getting deals. And I'm like getting pissed off now. And I just said, I want a deal. I want it now. I started giving marching orders to the universe. It pays off, actually. It's very strong energy. So when she said she wanted to take the affirmations out, I said, okay, well, this woman isn't publishing my book either. Well, I'm going to challenge her. I said, well, I got a challenge for you. I've got my fabulous 14 affirmations. I want you to do them. It takes 21 days standard. Do them every day for 21 days and then tell me your results afterwards. And we'll talk again. She goes, okay, I'll do them. And she did. And she called me 21 days later and said, Chellie, I said, yes. She said, I'm making money out of the air. I said, tell me what's happening. She goes, people are paying me back loans I forgot they owed me. I got a bonus at work. I've never gotten a bonus here before. I'm getting bigger book deals. I'm happier. There's all kinds of stuff going on. I said, anything else you're doing differently besides the affirmations? She goes, no. I said, so do you think the affirmations should stay in the book now? She goes, yeah. And I had a book deal.
Yay. But
awesome. I had to be willing to lose that book deal.
Yeah.
You got to be willing to lose it. You've got to know who you are and what you stand for, and don't change it. You know, because now you can self-publish. You can do all kinds of things. You can find another publisher. I lost a deal with HarperCollins because I was going to be with Harper San Francisco. And then they called to tell HarperCollins in New York about it. And they said, oh, no, you can't publish that book because we just signed somebody to do a page-a-day book about money. Oh, so it was my unique idea and everything. I was just destroyed. So I went to bed and cried myself to sleep. And then when I got up in the morning, I said, well, I don't know what this gal is going to write, but it isn't going to be my book because my book is my stories. And I am a really good storyteller and I have had a lot of adventures in my life. And it's going to be a totally different book. So, and this publisher isn't going to publish it. So there's somebody else. There are 6,000 publishers out there and I'm going to get me one. So there. And see, when you get determined like that, that's when the money comes. That's when the charisma comes. That's when the supporters come. That's when your people come. It works like that.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen that. I mean, that's what's happening with me right now. You know, I've got people that are starting to call me and say, hey, help, you know, and I'll get done helping somebody, not even thinking about money. And they're like, okay, send me an invoice.
Yeah.
Okay, so how much do you want me to send you an invoice for? And they tell me and I send it. And then they pay.
I think there's a little upgrading and tweaking we can do with that. Because first of all, you don't want to forget that part.
No, I send it right away. Like I used to take time and like, you know, I'll get to it later and I'll get to it and eventually get the invoice. I invoice people right away now, Chellie. You changed that for me. You were like, the answer is always yes. When somebody says they want to give you money, the answer is yes. Can I give you
it right now?
Yes. Take the card, write it down, deal with it after you get off the phone. And the fact that you have somebody else's card and you don't like that idea, that was my thing, right? I didn't like the idea of having somebody else's card number in my house.
Really?
So I invoice them, like I build you right away, and then I burn that in the fire because I don't want anyone else to find that number. And you, it's like, no.
Yeah, but you know what? Nothing happens if somebody uses your number. The credit card company gives you your money back. They send you a new card with a new number. Nothing bad happens.
That's true.
Can't be that worried about stuff. If you want to worry about stuff, worry about something big, you know, like the asteroid hitting the Earth. You know.
So I'll get over that then. I've gotten over it. Past it.
Yeah.
Past it. So if anybody wants help, if anybody wants help and they want to send me their credit card number, you just do it because I'll help you.
That's right. And it'll be worth every penny. Let me just say that.
And probably a few more.
Yes.
The transformations I bring is your dream is now happening.
Bingo. Ooh, that's a good marketing message right there. Your dream is now happening.
Because before that, you have the dream and you see how it can work, right? You see all the pieces. Like I've known about how this can all work for years, but now that I'm starting to help other people put it together,
yes,
their dreams are happening, and in result, my dream is happening.
Yes, and then you see your value. When you give somebody the path, you help them up the last step and you see them take off. I mean, this is what coaches and helper people know that other people may never know, is when you are a giving person like that and you give help to somebody, when they win, it's just like it happened to you. The feeling is even better than if it happened to you, because there's no shyness about it. It's just complete joy for somebody else. And you got to assist. Yes.
Yes.
It's the best. So people say, well, you got to save for retirement. I am not that financial gal. I am not a save for retirement gal.
You're my gal. You're my gal.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, if you want to do that whole thing, there's pieces to that. You gotta get a really good job. That's lots of extra money that you can save a couple of million. I mean, when I met with a financial planner like years ago, because I was making money in the bookkeeping service, I thought, oh, I should be responsible and get a retirement plan. And she did all these numbers and said, okay, so to live the way that you're going to need to later on and have a great lifestyle, you need to have $2 million saved. So that means you need to start now saving $800 a month. Well, I only made $2,400 a month before taxes. Okay, so like I'm going, okay, so that's how that is. So I'm never going to be able to retire. So let's make peace with it and have a good time. And then later I figured, okay, there's a different message there. It doesn't have to be all that, and you could save and get started and build it. But to me, the game was never about saving this big pot of money that you could then kick back and do nothing. Because I'll tell you what happens. The people that do that, first of all, 29% of the American public dies before they get to age 65. And after retiring at age 65, a third of those people are dead in 2 years. Now, I play poker. That's my side hustle. I'm a betting woman, okay? You give me odds like, those are not good odds. I mean,
what was the percentage that died before 65?
29%, almost a third. Wow. Almost a third. See, and then after retiring,
there was 2 people like that I saw in my younger years when people were saying save for retirement. And I saw them die. Like one was like 2 months before he was going to retire. Yeah. And the other one was like that year or whatever. Like I just saw them go, and all the things that they wanted to do, all the things that they were saving up to do when they retired with them.
I had a gal, I know, it's awful. I had a gal tell me, well, I work hard in my business, so I haven't had a vacation in 10 years. And I looked at her and I said, well, you don't get them back, And she went, what? I said, those 10 vacations that you didn't take, you don't ever get them. There's not 1 year where you get to go on 10 vacations. You'll never allow yourself to do it because you're out of practice. You don't know how to treat yourself well and have fun. You better get some practice in now. She just turned white. She had never thought of it like that. She thought she was being real responsible. Yeah, but you got to know why you're being responsible and to what. It's like I read Dame Judi Dench's autobiography. It's called And Furthermore. And she had this little paragraph. And she said, people are always asking me if I'm going to retire. She said, no, people retire to do what they love. I'm doing what I love now. There's always going to be a part for a little old lady in a wheelchair.
Yeah, It's so true. It's so true. Enjoy your life, people. Enjoy your life.
Yes. Now, I was never afraid of running out of money because I believe in my ability to create an income. That's really what my class is about. Relying on yourself to be able to create an income. Use your brain, use your talents, go figure out somebody will pay you something for that. But I was terrified of saving all my money, never having any fun, and dying first, like your 2 friends.
So your class is starting tomorrow. Is there still room for people to get in, or is it full?
Yeah, no, I could get another 2 people in if somebody wanted to jump in at the last minute.
Where do they go to jump in, or do they call you? Or
okay, they can call me, or they can go to my website. That's a good place. There's a contact information, it has my phone number and my email address. You can go send me a message on Facebook. Just put my name in. My name is right there, Chellie Campbell. And Chellie.com is my website. And my email is pretty easy, Chellie@Chellie.com. Okay. If you get the spelling of my first name, you've got me forever, pretty much.
Chellie@Chellie.com. I'm just putting it right out there.
Okay, cool.
The whole world has your email now.
I love it.
So if anybody wants to, and of course on the podcast, it's going to probably be, I don't think I'll get it up today. So you're hearing this, but you know what? Chellie will have another class.
Yeah, the class after this will start end of October.
There you go. So contact her. And if it's after October and you're listening to this replay of the podcast, contact her anyway.
Oh,
and
yeah, I do this all the time. And then there's the Wealthy Spirit Group. You get a 10-minute video with a lesson and a story every day. So you can put your own class together.
You can, and you can get her book and then jump in the group and have fun. Man, thank you so much for being here today, Chellie. We could talk for hours.
I know, because I love you to death. Thank you so much for inviting me to have a whole hour of conversation with you and your peeps.
So you're only allowed to love me to life, just so you know. That's one of my that's one of my wordsmithing. I don't like that phrase. Love me to life.
I love you to life. That's a good reframe. Thank you very much. I'll use that.
So, and thank you to the listeners who are listening to the podcast, and we shall see you the next time. And the next time I do a live recording is next Sunday night, 5 p.m. Eastern time. It's a new time, a new time for me to do this. So I am going to invite you to join with me. And usually these have been a half an hour, but y'all got bonus time today because we were having so much fun and we wanted to invite you to come along with us. So thank you so much. Remember to always live your life out loud and be bold you.
Yes.
Yay.
Thank you so much. This was wonderful. Can you post this on my page too or tag me?
I will.